Yo ho ho! It's time for some more Farthest Frontier. We go back to our town. What was it? Grimham, I think it was called. Alright, so where we left off last time, we had just survived our first winter. I do believe there's... Yeah, okay, there we go. Just took a while for the game to load in. So we had just survived our first winter and coming into the beginning of spring. And now it is time to really start getting this place going. It says there's no fishing range. Do they sort of destock over time? Or is it just because I put it in a bad place? Because I don't think it let me get much further. We were getting fish before. I think maybe it's just been fished out. Perhaps? I'll need to learn these mechanics. Also, I'm not certain, but I feel like we want to keep things like our herbs available, but it's also on our most prime farming locations. So if you've got input on how that best works, or if I do need to actually build over them, let me know. I don't see. Okay, there's one patch of herbs over there. And that's it. This is all over here and then a little bit of greens over there. So I feel like I kind of want to maintain that for now. Anyway, we still haven't set up our first farm. They are busy building it. Let me unpause and actually get things going. And yes, as far as I realized, well, as far as I know, there is a sort of a scurvy system. So if you don't get the right mix of things, greens and vegetables and all that, people get scurvy. 7 people have arrived at the village. Their plans seem great. Will you accept them into your village? Yeah, let's bring them in. We're going to need some new houses, though, I think. Because that's, at the moment, we have got... Oh, no, we've got space. We do need to build more now. Oh yes, we had too high there. Let's see if we can figure out if we can get that flattened and not mess everything else up. A bustling market would help generate gold and attract new settlers to our growing town. I'm aware we need to build one. We need the saw pit and the storehouse. Which one did we get? We just got the stockyard, so we can get the storehouse now. It doesn't affect desirability, does it? No, so that can go closer to our people. And then the root cellar is where we store our food. And I hope that it doesn't go off. Why are we getting so much lag suddenly? I want to keep these all somewhat centralized. They're complaining about not enough water. Did we not build a well? I know I was thinking about one, but I don't know if I did. Oh yeah, we built one up there, but I think we're going to need one closer to our peoples. 60, 64. That seems to be our best spot. We are out of wood. Yeah, we are getting food here, fish here now, so that's alright. Still don't know why they haven't been able to collect that berry bush. I wonder if it's because it's like in the water, or if it's too far, or they can't actually get it behind those trees. Look at the mushrooms on that tree. Lovely. There's some beautiful details in the graphics in this game. Very atmospheric. He's nice. A new villager has been born. I think that's the first one. Little Emma. How's this farm going? We've got medicinal roots right by our shore over here. We definitely want to keep those around. And we can build a house there, but now it's too steep over there. Okay. I'm thinking if we put a market in the middle there and a bunch of desirability buildings around it, we can make something perhaps pretty nice. We shall see. Wow, it's gone so nice and bright. I guess that's because we're in summer. Dredham. We need more shelters. We need our market and population up. Market requires just these buildings to finish. How are we doing for food? 12 months. Cool. So now we've got our storage, and I think so. We've got our root cellar, we have our storehouse, and we just need our saw pit done, and then we are golden to do our market. I really like the visuals of this game. Okay, so we should be able to build our market now. Let's have a look. Yep. So the market, let's just read the tooltip over here. Where household goods are stocked by a grocer and distributed to houses, saving time for the working villagers. Markets also generate tax revenue and increase the desirability of surrounding houses. And as far as I know, there's also like sort of a hidden thing that hunters and foragers as well also provide a bonus. Yeah, you do see they pop up when we go over them. So I think that means they are covered. Yeah, you see the buildings in green. So our hunter and our forager both over here. That's why I built them over here, if you remember. We want to get them into that circle. We want to keep our houses out of that area. So we don't necessarily want to bring this in too close. And maybe we want to get that whole block in. I think that's where we're going to want to build it. It's pretty central. We'll see how it goes. And we can always move buildings in the game, which is a very nice feature. I love the little root cellar there. Feels a little bit hobbity. Store your food underground, and hobbits love their food. At some point, we're going to have to worry about defenses. At the moment, we're just a fledgling little pioneer town, so hopefully we don't get attacked anytime soon. This farm is slowly getting there. We do need to do something about our wood. We're not far from going into autumn, so it's unfortunate that the farm didn't get finished. We could have prioritized it, but we do have enough food stored at the moment, so it should be all right. We could maybe build more forages, but I'm not sure if it's necessary yet. We might want to go into the herbs and medicinals, because, yeah, in fact, I actually am going to do that. 3 immigrated and a new one born. Great. This doesn't have enough water. Ooh, we've got a bunch of new stuff unlocked. Unfortunately, this well, we've got one over there. We've got one over here. Maybe... Yeah, you see that one doesn't cover that house, and this one covers nothing. You do need to worry about obstruction, because the wells do sort of share water, I believe. I'm going to build it there. It's not the best spot, but we need it because this house is not covered. Yeah, this farm is not going to be finished for this year's harvest. Cool. This little forager's shack is complete, and I'm just going to move the region out a little bit because I want to get all these, and hopefully there might be something a little bit out of that range to the side there. We can also say set an exploration point and say, hey, when you got a chance, check out that spot. I don't think anyone's going to do that anytime soon, but be interesting to see what's down there. We might want to build another forager. Ooh, what we got here? Iron ore is down here. Do we want to perhaps move this forager's area just a little bit? We might be able to get a slightly better selection of goodies. Someone's actually going down here. Good job. I just wanted to see if there was anything around this edge here. We got a little bit of mushroom over there. It's a nice way to just start getting the map explored. I might actually also say, hey, there's a bunch of interesting food resources over here, so when someone's got time, I'd like to see what's further that way, because we might want to get a forager in there. There's some here, but I don't think it's worth building a building for. We do have hazelnuts back here. I might want to perhaps extend our little road into the forest down here. It's very dense. Ooh. Someone actually is coming down here. Hawthorn and some greens. So I think this is a good spot to put forager shack just because of the sheer amount of resources down here. I think I'm going to build it a little bit closer, and then we can just move the region out a little bit. I don't want to destroy the plants there. Hopefully that's good enough range. And I'm going to break up the grid a little bit and start doing some more curvy roads here. I heard some ducks, some geese. They're doing their migration. Winter is coming. Very original comment, I know. Let's prioritize this market site because they're not. Farm is almost done. They're building out roads and things down here. It's a lovely little path. I wouldn't mind to have this walk every day to work. Let's see if we can get this circle out where I wanted, and I think we can. Crops ready for assignment. Haha! Our farm is completed. So this is where we get into the complex system of the farming in the game. Again, I'm no expert in this, but I have watched a few things, so we'll get a feel for it. So you definitely need to do some crop rotation in this game, and I love that they included that. There's a lot of games you just, intensely farm one area. In this, if you do multiple farms and multiple seasons of the same crop, you're gonna get some trouble. You'll see that there is also the soil mixture, and you'll see that it's saying at the moment, there's a little green thing in the middle there, and you can add sand or add clay to get a certain soil consistency that is right for your crops. And you see we've got 3 years of crops and different seasons. So if we click on add crops, We get all our different ones over here, and then we also get the special ones doing field maintenance, and that's actually really important. Reducing weed levels and removing rocks from fields will actually sort of increase our fertility and the yield of our crops. So we might actually want to say, hey, to start off, let's remove rocks and remove weeds and stuff. And then another thing that I really love that the game has is we've got cover crops like clover over here. It's something that they do a lot in farming. You use cover crops between different crops. So clover, I think, what's the other thing? Alfalfa and stuff like that. It's basically just a crop you fill your field with, and what they actually do often is that it adds fertility because they're nitrogen fixing crops. And you'll see that the way it works in the game is it's got an impact on fertility, that it increases it, whereas most things you'll see it decreases fertility. Another thing that does that in reality is beans, and you'll see that it has a slight impact in fertility. Peas as well. So that's because they're nitrogen fixing, something to do with the way their roots work and their all that stuff. I'm no expert, but I do like plants. So that's why you would often grow beans and peas, cover crops, that sort of stuff, because you add fertility to the soil, and then you can do your other crops in other seasons. So what I'm going to do a little bit of a fix of that, and then let's do a bean crop this first year. Beans are good, and you can also say, let's put this in different times, and if you've got multiple fields, you can sort of spread it out so that you got your workers working in different things at the right time. And you'll see with our mixture for beans, we're not the ideal mix. We would really want to ideally have a little bit of sand, so we could say, we would want our mix over there, and that gives us a 10% bonus over there. It actually seems that rocks help with the yield for beans, interestingly. It's really just, that's something you'd have to play around with, I think, different crops. Let's look at the next year. So what we might want to do then is we want to then maybe get something more hearty, perhaps. There's also frost tolerance. So if we, wanted to do our harvest closer to winter, or right at the beginning of spring there, with a very quick crop, you would want to make sure that it's a frost tolerant one. So we could have like turnips or something, maybe carrots. You can see the flax, that's not a food crop, so we're not going to grow that yet. That's got a high heat tolerance. Same as wheat. The wheat you could maybe slightly push out the thing a little bit. It's got a little bit of a stat for weed suppression as well. Interesting, we've got buckwheat as well. That's cool. I like that we've got multiple different crop types of different uses. Like if you've got one of the maps that don't have much fertile soil, maybe you want to grow rye or buckwheat instead of wheat, just to suit the soil, You see leeks have a massive impact on fertility. I think that was one of the highest ones we've seen there. -5, the same as rye. So I'm just gonna mix things up a little bit. Let's see what we can do. Maybe we want to do, how do we remove one? Clear selected crop. Okay, cool. Cabbages are, pretty staple food of poor areas. Let's see if we could maybe do a year of just light maintenance, and then maybe we just add some turnips at the end there. I want to just bump up the fertility of this by doing this. We can always change these later. So it's only about 3 edibles, but we're a small population at the moment. We're doing okay for food. We can always add in other farms and change those up so we can see how it goes. And how it works in the game is all the fields you have, your farmers go into a pool. So if you've got farmers that have already sowed their fields or whatever, they can all work on all the fields together. So you don't need to micromanaged too much those numbers. What is this saying? This building storage is full. The smokehouse. And we got some more villagers. So yeah, when we get more idle people, then they can start carrying, hauling stuff and stuff like that. Eventually we'll get wagons that we can create. 9 months of food, and we've got about 4 months of cold coming up, so we should be okay. 7 months. 7, 9, it's fluctuating. We should be alright. Predator sighted. I believe we can grab a bunch of people. Who are the nearest ones? Probably these ones, and we can say, yo. There's a wolfie over there. Here we go. Slow down the speed and watch this fight. Don't want our person dead. We might lose them. Yeah, we lost them to a predator. That's unfortunate. I am sorry. I didn't actually read your name in time. I just looked at your stats. So maybe we need to actually build a cemetery. A villager killed by predators. Parla was cut down by predators. She did a foraging business. We now mourn her. Okay. Well, that sucks. Our first death. So we need to do a graveyard. We don't want to get disease and rats spreading things. So we don't want to build it in fertile land. We don't want to build it near our houses there. I do know that these cannot be moved once you've built them. So this is going to be a feature of our town. There isn't much up here. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put you 4x4. 4x5. It feels right. We'll do it that size. If people are mostly still happy. We've got 1 senior, 3 infants, 17 adults. 3% are educated and 26 are fit to work. And here comes the snow. Yes, that's how you build a graveyard. You just stand in the middle and you hammer the air, right? So at the moment we're mostly subsisting on just the hunting, the fish and the meat. So after hammering the air for a while, ba-boonk, our graveyard is complete and they can move in the body of, what was the name? P something, poor lady. This graveyard was first constructed in year 2. Can fit 80 corpses in there. Smack's graveyard, you can fit so many corpses in here. Are you gonna pick her up? With a spade? Don't know why you needed to use a spade that side, but well, I guess she was under snow. That fair enough. The market is complete finally. Okay, so let's go through what's popped up new in the game so far. We've got all of these. We've got those resources. So this is where we've got some new stuff. We've got the tannery. Cures animal hides and turns them into coats. Allows people to survive in the cold. We've got the cobbler for shoes. The fletcher, so we can craft bows and arrows. And the basket shop. We have entered year number 3. We survived apart from that one poor person. And 3 new people and a new villager was born. Got the baskets and the compost yard. So that's going to be important. We want to collect the night soil and turn it into compost. It can be added to farm fields to increase fertility. So that's something that they're probably going to start complaining about. So we might want to move this and get people to start doing that. We want this far away from the living quarters. So I'm going to build this down here, and it is not a valid location. Slope too steep. Predator sighted. Got another wolfie. Nice, we didn't die that time. So you can manually control your people. That is a feature in the game. Oh yeah, we were doing the night soil. We got the compost yard. So this is actually fairly steep. We've collected our yearly taxes. We've got 33 gold sitting now. We got a monthly tax report of 11. That's not too bad. I believe it's 1 gold per building, and we've got 9 houses and then our 2 buildings there, so that's 11. Yeah, that makes sense. That's why I wanted to have our hunter and our forager nearby. So we might need to flatten some soil for our compost yard. Let's do that. Takes quite a bit of work, unfortunately. I still think this is my favorite road. My job was working at this forager. I would be pretty happy in this town. Unfortunately, they do have to walk. It's not even that far to their house, so that's fine. And they're getting some greens over here. How is our farm doing? We've got, just to start beginning, someone has been attacked. I didn't actually check the fertility. We need to check that again. Is there anyone else nearby? Oh, we've got a bunch of people helping out over here. This guy's pretty injured though, so we do need to start worrying about that. We were looking at the soil mixture. We might want to go a little bit more into the green there. That needs to go further across. So it's not actually the best composition, but for the majority of them, they're in the green. It's just the turnip that is not perfect for. We might want to swap that out for something else. Though for the time period that's available in that year, it's not really possible. Okay, so it seems that they have flattened that over there. Hopefully we can build our compost yard over here. Yes, and I'm also going to go, since we've got a crossroads over here, I'm going to just bring it through there so then our composter can take fertilizer to the farm fields. So you can see if we go to the desirability map G, you can see that this area is where we're putting all our nastier stuff, and this is where we want to make nice. We lost a berry to spoilage. 1 berry. Oh no, I lose more to that in my fridge. What else has become available? Basket shop, Fletcher, cobbler, and the tannery. They're all nice, but they're not necessary at the moment. A lookout tower would be nice. It's got a 5 per month cost of gold. Something to consider as well is we might want to add some fencing for our farms. At the moment, we just got the 1 farm. I don't really want to put fences around it at the moment. We can afford a few losses there. Wild animals will come and eat. We've got some deer down over here. We might want to bring in another hunter down there. I think you can modify that by adding in new trees and stuff, and it attracts more deer or something like that. I do believe that there's some system like that. I'm not sure the mechanics. And then we do have our decorations that we can add around. If we do have some fruit trees, we don't have any available. Juniper, does that count as a food? I think it's more of a flavoring, isn't it? But we can add in things like our small and medium gardens and stuff, and that will increase desirability. Something that you see in the tooltip here is that the small plaza can be placed under roads. So I think that means we can build that along here and it will add desirability without taking up a space. That's quite cool. Here's our muck yard. Our muckery. I don't know, I'm just making it worse there. Compost yard. But generally, if you're wanting to actually use nice soil for fertilizer, you really need to make sure that you're getting it up to the right heats and destroying all the bacteria. Otherwise, you're just going to be spreading all sorts of things to people. Got to be careful with that. But it is certainly possible. Insert the Martian memes here. And I do believe those lightning strikes can set our village on fire. New villager born. I might add in the tannery. You'll see that this has got a huge desirability impact. That's because I believe... let me just pause quickly. I believe when they were doing tanning in the past, they used human urine. I think the ammonia created from that. I might be wrong, you can correct me, but I think that's part of the process. You'll see that they've got these big pits in there for chemicals. I think it's like lye and ammonia or something, but I might be completely off there. I know they did use ammonia from pea for something. Let me actually look it up. It was also used for gunpowder production, cleaning, tanning of leather, and the dyeing of textiles. Yep. Interesting that it's used for gunpowder as well. Okay, we've got an impending heat wave. The winds have died down and a period of sweltering heat has set in that could last for weeks. Ensure your town has adequate water supplies. Villages will need to draw more water from wells. Crops may be damaged, especially those sensitive to heat. Sorry, Europe. Hopefully you're doing okay now. We've got those wells over there. Well. We can look at the availability of water. I think it says somewhere. Yeah, you can see there's the nearby wells penalty. Currently holding 250 water. This one is a little bit lower, but it's all right. And you can see there's the terrain water bonus, the seasonal water bonus. So I think based on the rains and stuff, and that with the heat wave is probably going to decrease. And then this one is fine as well. So they seem to be fine. We should survive the heat wave. We might need to build some more houses. We're almost reaching our limit again. How far can we get from our wells? Does it show the range on them? It does not. Resources, well, so if we look over there, I believe we should be able to build one more set of housing on each side to be okay. There we go. For some reason it didn't place the first couple times I clicked. So I want to make this sort of like a market plaza sort of area here. That's why I've got some nice gaps in there. I didn't exactly get the spacing perfectly, but it's fine. It is fine. Can we build a road? Because we've got that little hump over there. There's a little market road over there. I'll just make it a little bit faster for things to happen there. That's no big deal. We have harvested 360 cabbages. So that is great. Our farm is working. How are our wells doing? They're going down, but we should be fine. Our tannery is complete. There we go. We can produce hide coats from pelts and, in inverted commas, water. Technically, that originated from water, so yeah, that's fine. So we will be producing some warm clothes for winter. Keep our babies warm. We are losing a lot more food to spoilage in this season, as you can see during the heat wave. But hopefully we should still be fine at the end of the season. We've basically almost finished our harvesting of this field. So it's got club root at the moment. You can see there's a 1% chance to spread within 30 meters. Dissipates slowly and may require turnips, cabbages, and other plants in the families not to be grown in the affected field for several years. There's a low chance to immediately spread. Unfortunately, it seems like we've got turnips as our next crop, so we might want to also, this was the one that was slightly wrong. So I'm going to remove that and I'm going to see what we can fit in there. Maybe we can do carrots. We've got just about a 3-month thing. We might actually want to remove the man working thing there, because we've really got cover crops coming in there. We could maybe do beans, but we've got beans coming in the next year. I think carrots perhaps. Doesn't have much heat tolerance, so maybe if we push it to later in the year, something like that. Lots of spoilage happening, but we have finally, I think the heat wave has broken with this rain, so we should be good. Good. It's good. Blueberries. You, my fella, are coming right this way, and you're gonna just stuff there. So they still have not moved this one over here, and I do not know why. I think it's because it's partly in water or because the people can't get through these trees, but I feel like they should be able to, so I don't really know what's happening there. And previously we planted 986 cabbages. We harvested 522, so that's, what's that, about 40% loss. Okay, when we get some wood planks, we can start upgrading to tier 2. And then we can get a bunch of interesting new buildings. Overall, my people are at 97% happiness, which is pretty good. Their lowest factors are their shoes and their clothing. So we're going to need to get some new shoes and clothes made for them. But that's not a massive thing at the moment. You got the clothing over there. Cobblers. So that does just use pelts. So maybe we can build that. And then, yeah. So, where can we fit this nicely? This doesn't seem to have an effect on desirability, so that can start coming into other regions over here, which is good. I'm going to build you along that road over there next to the, what was it? The firewood splitter. Sort of our workers' quarter over here. Wood chopping, sawing, shoemaking, leather making, and compost making. 3 new villages immigrated and 2 new villages were born. Population is going up quite rapidly. How are we doing for food as we come into winter? We have gonna have, what's that, about 6 months from now. It's a little bit low. We might need to do something about that. Maybe we put in another fishing shack. So we've got this one over here reaching out into those areas. So if we can find a spot where we can build, yeah, I don't know how it works, like if you build a building over these things, like if I build a farm over here, does that then remove the ability to get greens out of there? Surely it does, though I don't see them tied to a specific plant. Let me know how that works. I am not certain. Seems to be the best spot at the moment. Alright, well, Dredham is about to enter into its, what's it, third winter? We should have enough food, and then we'll see what happens. We've got a fairly nice little stock of gold back there, which we can use to create some decorations. You'll see that most of the decorations here use gold as their resource. So we can add those, though it might make sense to use that instead for defenses, because we're going to have our lookout tower, which will then store soldiers, or which can be used to defend against, wolves and raiders, which feels like something we might need to do. We just got 2 new people, and we might need to build some new houses. If we look at our main building, we still need some more planks, so we can't upgrade just yet. But I think that's a good spot to leave. We finished off 2 years in this set, and our little village is slowly growing. We've got our farms going on, we've got new industries coming in, and our people are pretty happy. So, I hope you enjoyed, and answer some of those questions I got, and let me know what you think of our little town, what we should do next. Thanks for joining in. See you next time. Goodbye.